The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to another special edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your lovable, squeezably soft host. And now with, probably a shade darker skin from being out in the sun yesterday. Normally I'm, of course, working and don't have a lot of extra time. On the weekends I try to catch up on all the stuff I missed because I was working. But yesterday it rained on and off, and I came in here, had a fairly decent time. And we'll be talking about that in a little bit, in just a few minutes. But if anybody caught the pre-show, every time I hear that song from Sting about the fields of gold, just almost impossible not to think about my trips abroad. And I think that song came out a few years before I went through England on a train, but if you've never been through the barley fields, they are truly fields of gold. As far as you can see on either side of the train, just a bright and brilliant gold. And I always think of that when I hear that song. Anyway, we've got a market that's not doing much, at least on volume, and for the most part wasn't doing much at all either. 1626 up 10 points on the S&P cash, just 1.4 billion shares. In fact, we've had market, or at least network outages from the indexes today, and it has been one of those things. I had a question from, I assume, since no one ever tells me on the IM who's the engineer today, but I'm assuming it is Disco Steve. He says, well, how does it smell? And as far as I can remember, there was no smell to it that I can remember. I think barley has probably a big smell when it's put in beer, but out in fields, I don't remember smelling anything. But certainly, absolutely brilliant gold. Anyway, when we're looking at these markets, of course, we're up 10 points on the S&P cash. No big deal there, but the volume is just pathetic. And to tell you the truth, all 8 points came back in, 2 minutes, right at 12 o'clock when someone issued a buy order because they wanted to pin this market up about 1625. But this probably sets up a huge move in this market, and that is either the market fails right here because of incredibly light volume pushing back at these highs, and or we get one more retest of the top again. Job numbers came out this morning. Of course, everybody was a little worried about them at first, and to me, I think the numbers that are telling us the truth are probably coming in from Europe about what's going on. This light volume, anybody can push this around, and I think that they did. When traders, the Wall Street big fat cats come back from the Hamptons on Monday, I think we have a much better idea of what's going on. Most of them were sitting around waiting for the numbers to come out on their phones with their minions, and at 8:35 after the numbers came out, they all ran back out on the beach. But the UK's FTSE was off 0.7. Germany's DAX off almost 2.5%. France's CAC was off 1.5%. Spain's IBEX was off 1.7%. Portugal off 0.5%. Italy's MIB index was 1.7%. And the Irish probably having a few beers to celebrate or commiserate with the fall of 1.6%. Greece, strangely enough, up 2.5%, but that's nothing because it's like saying penny went to 2 pennies and you had a 100% increase. Just gastric flatulent noise, I suspect, in Greece, and yes, that would smell. Other things that we have going on in the marketplace is just not a whole lot. probably, if you did miss it, the loosely and probably Orwellian named the Affordable Care Act was put off yet another year. This is for people with more than 50 employees, I believe. And people like me will still get stuck. So, we'll always have, a certain politician will probably always have a laugh at my pain of additional taxes where I get absolutely nothing for them. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Maybe we'll be lucky enough that individually employed people also don't have to pay for an Obamacare tax through the rest of the year and get absolutely nothing, as it's not going to be implemented, at least not for another year. So I'll feel doubly bad. Not only do other people get off, but I get to pay for something that they'll probably never get either. Other things in the marketplace, what do we have going on? And that is just a few things, probably the most important. Do I have COMEX gold prices here? No, I'll look them up during the break. But a significant weakness in these markets, at least in the gold market. And I'll see if I can't dig up that. Hang on just 1 second. Had to slide all the way across the room and pick something up here just so we have it. Maybe we got it. Trying to get to yet another computer. And there we go. Maybe I'll see. Do I have it on this one? Hard to say. Okay, West Texas crude up $1.89. Brent was up $2.01. Copper was off at 10 cents, which is something we need to look at. $3.06. And let's see if I can get back to that. I have to go back. We're up 16.28 now on the. I'm not getting that. Well, anyway, we'll get back to that in a second. Some of the stocks that I wanted to look at first here today were some of the housing stocks. Of course, interest rates started to skyrocket soon after the unemployment numbers came out, and they were a little bit better off. These stocks were very weak, and everybody wanted to buy them, but we had a fairly decent look at these things. But the stocks that are down the most right now are all these housing stocks. Looking at the spike in interest rates, Ryland's off 6% today. This thing came down on heavy volume, and when we actually take a closer look at Ryland, fairly good indication that this thing was going to come down, and did on heavy volume. You had basically 3.4 million shares on June 21st, and when you look at what this thing came up with, and those same numbers, 1.3 million shares, 1.5 million shares, so you knew you were going to get at least a test of this $36.63 low. Let's take a quick look at Lennar, slightly better, off 4.3%. This one is certainly back in its gap. That gap that set up support for a long time happened on September 13th last year, and we've been into that gap. Of course, this one had 15 million shares on June 21st, so we knew we were going to get back into it. Now, this one is going to be lighter volume today, so we'll have to see on Monday whether or not any of this comes back. But still a big issue out here into these lighter range. So maybe, if we don't get any continuation or a breakdown Monday, these will be very interesting. So that is Lennar DHI, which is DH Horton. And we've got this down. Yeah, another one. Very heavy volume. Of course, we're breaking, or at least tying the lows from last week on this one. Again, what are we looking at? 16.5 million shares about 4 million shares so far today. So this is testing these lighter lows. But the question is, when everybody is back on Monday, does the selling continue? PHM on that one. What do we have? This thing still needs to get back, but you're certainly looking at probably 1746 and or the April 18th low. That had 9.8 million shares. And we had 12 million shares. You had 13 million shares on February 21st. So it was a million shares light. Pulte looks like it might be able to come back. Of course, down fairly strongly on 5.5 million shares today. But again, we're going to be looking much more closely at what's coming on Monday when all the traders finally get back. Pulte, Toll Brothers, KBH. Let's take a quick look at them. KBH. Okay, this one's back into its gap. That gap came up on the 27th of February. And as we look at this, it really didn't. It just kind of touched it on its big down day last week. Had a nice volume reversal day on the 27th with 11.5 million shares. A little bit of short covering. KBH's came back down 4.9 million shares. That gap was actually 5.4. So if you didn't consider that this is the day after 4th of July, a lot of these charts would be signing up. Let's look at some of these peripheral stocks first. MHK, which is, of course, Mohawk Carpeting. People buy new houses. They got to have new carpeting. This one, a little less, more back into the trading range. Of course, I forget how much Buffett owns of this company, but it may be 50%. Huge amount. I forgot. Let's take a quick look at Hovenian, H-O-V. A little less in this one. And Joe, which is, I think, is St. Joe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, St. Joe Company. This one's a Florida and a Arizona builder of housing out here. This one actually kind of trading a little opposite here, giving a sell signal. So that's kind of interesting. Actually, the last major high attempt out here was March 21st, 560,000 shares, to 240,000 shares, 148,000 shares today, 240 on Wednesday. So, like I said, this is probably going to be the lightest volume day of the year for a lot of these stocks, and including Wednesday's half a day. So very light volume as we go through the day. We will be back in just a minute. Make sure and give me a call at 877-927-6648.
The Art of Timing the Trade charts has officially launched at TFNN. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, The Art of Timing the Trade charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we come back, playing with one of my new creations here. I've always had, when I started doing the show instantly, I just never could really get an idea how much time I had left, when I was going to go break, if I could run out, come back. So I wrote a little thing, and if you're watching on Tiger TV, it's called the Tiger Clock. And basically all the ins and outs out here for all the hosts we have at TFNN. I gave it away to everybody, but mostly it was for me. But actually wrote one for my little Android tablet, and quite enjoying it today. I was kind of always interested in what it took to write something, and it's not a huge program on the scale of art of timing trade charts, but kind of interesting to see how all this stuff actually works. And of course, I do write the Tech Insider, so it is kind of interesting, but we'll have to see how it goes. Anyway, make sure and give me a call, 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. And we'll talk about that. I'm just going to catch up a little bit on tech news since I won't be doing the Tech Insider Hour tonight. And there's probably a few things out here that are very interesting. Probably the thing that caught my eye this week the most is that the inventor of the computer mouse died. I think he died on Wednesday. He was 88 years old. His name was Engelbart, and he was big to-do in California. So, computers have been around long enough that we're starting to see some of these pioneers go after their final day or days. But every time you touch a mouse, it was designed by this gentleman at Stanford Research. And he was kind of hung around all those Xerox Park guys in Menlo Park, but kind of interesting to see after all these years. He actually got I think a Congressional Medal of Freedom or some kind of giant award from the president for being in on the early days. There's a little part here. It says, I first started making notes for the mouse in 1961. At that time, popular device for pointing on the screen was a light pen, which had come out of the radar program during the war. It was a standard way to navigate, but I didn't think quite right. We set up our experiments, and the mouse won in every category, even though it had never been used before. It was faster, and with people made fewer mistakes. 5 or 6 of us were involved in these tests, but no one can remember who started calling it a mouse. I'm surprised the name stuck. All these years later. But good ideas normally percolate for a while. Other things in technology news, probably the most interesting thing was Samsung came out with its numbers this morning, and everybody's a little bit disappointed. When you dig down a little bit further, you find out that both Apple and Samsung are getting to the saturation point of smartphones. Smartphones now account for 50% of all cell phone sales across the world. But what we can say is that there is a level of saturation. Samsung, a lot of people will say, well, Samsung has, 50 models of cell phones. Therefore, they can outsell Microsoft or outsell Apple. Interestingly enough, the new S4 and its waterproof brother, what do they call it, S4E for environmental, something like that. Both of those over the last 3 months pretty much sold one-to-one with Apple's iPhone itself. They call, at least in the biz, they call these the very expensive phones super phones, kind of like super cars. But interestingly enough, Samsung, just on that one single S4 model, is selling one for one. Now, it's not making the same kind of margins that Apple is making, and some were disappointed with the way Samsung reacted to the numbers. They weren't bad, and they still made billions of dollars. But to every market, there is a saturation point. Mostly everybody's jumping up and down on Apple because they've been pushing rumors out again over the last week or so about Apple TV coming and showing its head. And, of course, Apple iTunes streaming music service, and Apple the Lunchbox, and Apple all the other merchandising things that you can think of. It's off a little bit today. The bounce has not been with an authoritative volume, and I still think we're going to see 382.05 tested on Apple before this thing is done going down. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call.
With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter, Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position, for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We've got kind of the end of Microsoft's and Google's and Apple's developer programs. Normally, they have to at least speak about what's coming out in the near future. A lot of them have to, and probably the most interesting thing to come out of Microsoft's developer conference was that Bomber is going to continue to push the Surface and Surface RT laptops. They've been advertising, but probably the biggest difference is that they're going to start going into retailers that retail directly to business. Before, they pretty much had been set up with places like Staples, that kind of stuff, and there are now going to be, and I think next week, you're going to be able to buy these Surface tablets from CDW, CompuCom Systems, Endpoint, Insight, PC Connection, SoftChoice, SoftSmart, all the traditional direct retailers to business themselves. And it's not going to be it's going to be tough. Microsoft so far has only sold about 1 million of the 3 million Surface RTs that it ordered. And, of course, they're going to be dropping prices on those significantly and continue to push that around. So we'll keep an eye on that. What else do we have? And, of course, if you missed it, Mark Pincus is stepping down as the CEO of Zynga, being replaced by Don Matrick. Don is kind of the whiz kid that is leaving Microsoft. He was the head of the entire Xbox console program, and of course, the question is, why would he leave at this point and leave Microsoft? The answer is $50 million. He was probably the best executive at Microsoft, much better than Ballmer, and he got a level of autonomy that few senior officials get at Microsoft. Mostly because Ballmer wanted to have nothing to do with it in the beginning and left it alone. And, of course, it ended up being a big piece of Microsoft business. Pincus will be the chairman and chief product officer, but it's going to be Matrick that'll be it. And he normally lived up in in Canada, and if he had to go to Redmond, he'd fly actually pay for his own private jet. Didn't like flying around so much, but with $50 million and a huge amount of options, if this company turns around, this guy is going to be incredibly rich. And at the same time, doesn't make a lot of sense to hang around at Microsoft if a Ballmer is going to die in office, which it seems like. And, of course, everything Ballmer has touched has pretty much gone south. And, the phone business is twice, and these tablets are not doing well just yet either. So probably not a bad decision for him. And, of course, either way, this guy's going to walk out of here with a lot of money and probably the best executive at a high-ranking position at any of the big Silicon Valley companies. But it's not going to be bad. Zynga's already laid off 500 employees. There's about 20% of its staff to focus on mobile games. My question is whether or not they're not going to instantly pivot like Patton's army and start moving on the Xbox. Of course, this guy knows everything, the inside and outside, plus the future of Xbox. Mobile gaming is going to be very hard to make the same kind of money that their online Facebook games did. But, boy, I tell you what, if you came out with some really nice games for Xbox and some of the new features out there, I think Zynga could come back a lot better. But we'll have to see what their first versions of new software out. But my guess is that they're not going to try to be stuck with mobile gaming and the Commodore 64, the lightness of it. That he's probably going to try to turn Zynga into the premier game platform for Xbox One. So we'll have to look at that. Other things out here, seeing if there's anything new that really makes a lot of sense to speak about. I don't think so. I mean, we talked about most of this other stuff before. Probably the only other thing that I think that's really interesting in the tech field has been some more developments, and that is actually twisting light down fiber optic cable. And, we basically found out that experts at Boston University were able to, it almost sounds insane, but to twist light, kind of like a corkscrew. And by doing that, you can actually put more into the same amount of area. Because of course it more like a kind of almost like a double helix, like a DNA, and they're the same way it packs it. But more important is that by doing that, you can actually add huge amounts of data and the same light bandwidth. We've talked about it, maybe a year ago, that the Marconi company, the original Marconi company from 100 years ago that developed radio, has been doing this with the radio waves, and probably only a matter of time before we actually see the exact same thing with light. And this company, these guys at Boston University, pretty much already doing it. But the numbers are coming out, especially in smaller links. But they could transmit 400 gigabytes a second at just a single wavelength of light, and 1.6 terabytes across per second across 10 wavelengths. What this probably means is the existing optical cable probably going to be sufficient for some time to come, as this kind of technology eventually makes it into the head ends of most of these internet companies. Won't have to be putting a lot more fiber optic cable down, but certainly everything that you want. When you go up a factor of 10 on what a cable can carry, we're going to be doing. But we've gone up 4 orders of magnitude over the last 30 years in fiber optic cable. And, of course, order of magnitude is 10 times more, and this technology is going to be the same thing. I don't know if fiber optics has huge temperature issues. At least I haven't seen anything lately. I had a question in the den about it. But probably I wouldn't be investing a lot in Corning's business in a new fiber optic cable to replace existing cable that we have out here. But it does look very interesting. Anyway, we're going to look at a few stocks of interest out here as soon as I load them. Give me just a second. Got actually running a debugged version of the Art of Timing Trade Charts. I was making some changes yesterday. Yeah, what do we have? Let's go take a look at some tests. Amazon was kind of interesting. We were looking at this thing banging at the door, and it's going to be very interesting to see how these stocks look on Monday. But Amazon, old high was January 25th, just a shade under 5 million shares, $284.72 on that January 25th high. We went over above it about $1.50 on July 2nd. Since then, that volume was 3.2 million shares. Since then, we've had 1.3 million shares and 1.4 million shares. Going to be interesting looking at that. Another comment. I do have FiOS, by the way, and I'm directly linked with the office over in Clearwater. I'm in Tampa. But kind of interesting that we can be out here and be directly linked. Come through as clear as I can. By the way, I am using Skype for the audio portion here. We used to use a little black box that compressed the audio, but I'm going to actually liking Skyping, and they're going to be widening the bandwidth on Skype, I think, here fairly soon. Some other stocks that of interest out here that I was looking at, WCC. Let's take a look at that one. Wesco International, industrial equipment and wholesale. This thing, I'm kind of looking to see if this thing had made a bottom back in here. One of the better looking ones, especially if you're looking at the power law vector indicator. This thing went up on a 1.9, back on a 1.3. So you can infer from that the energy was about off about a third of what it was on the upside. No big surprise then when this thing came down and tested its previous low of April 18th at $65.53. 1.6 million shares there. We come back into it, and you can say either the day before 646,000 shares or the absolute low at 500,000 shares. This thing tested, it had a small little bounce. It came back once again, and very light volume back in here, and this is Wesco International. Let me get their profile. Well, maybe Cub in the den is talking about FiOS. I think if you'd really be lucky, you'd probably get Google Fiber and get one of the fiber hoods for Google. I don't know where you're located, but everything that I hear says that Google Fiber is better and only about 60% the cost of FiOS. Wesco International engages in the distribution of electrical, industrial, and communications equipment, repair and operating products, OEM equipment products, and construction materials, supply chain management, and logistics services. So they do a lot of different stuff out there. Not a bad trading range out here. 64 to 80 bucks would be very interesting indeed. Let's take a little better look at this thing over time. This thing has a higher volume high than the previous high. The previous high was March 14th at 77.79. Went above it with slightly higher volume on May 21st, 730,000 shares. So not a bad-looking chart out here. Again, anything that's in construction, new construction, or OEM should be suspect, especially with what those are doing today. SunTrust Banks, we're looking at some of those industrial stocks, and the question is whether or not SunTrust is ready to break out. Certainly not going to do it on a volume today. We've got about 4.6 million shares so far. STI is the symbol for SunTrust. I used to have SunTrust Bank when I first moved down here. $32.84 was the May 30th high with 7.9 million shares, and you actually got into that on the 22nd, but that's within 0.5% of the previous high. And when we look at that, not bad, but certainly not getting into and breaking into these things again. I think we're probably really going to be watching these on Monday to see whether or not some of these breakouts today are false breakouts. Lear Corporation, which used to be Learjet, but they split apart, sold the Learjet, also trying to break out a little bit today. And kind of interesting to see what we have. That is, the last high out here in Lear, which is LEA, about 4.7 million shares. We are breaking through that today with 1.4 million shares. And, we're, 1628, so we're just a little higher, but, 1.7 billion shares out here. If this thing closes back down, would be yet another nail in the coffin, saying there just isn't any higher volume out here. What else do we have? Wanted to look and see if there's any other stocks that were really interesting. Let's go back. I want to see if there's anything on the positive side out here. Cree's still popping up. Let's take a look at this thing. Cree. Another one that was going higher out here. You wanted to see volume today. You had kind of nice volume that matched the previous high of June 19th that had 2.8 million shares at 66.78. Blew through there on the 2nd of this month and, of course, pulled right back down. Tried again on very light volume on Wednesday. Today, 1.2 million shares going into that 2.8 million shares. So, again, these are the ones we're probably going to be watching very closely when we come in on Monday morning. I haven't looked at Baidu here in a day or so. We'll probably try to finish up with this when we do come back. But Baidu still looks weak bounce out here today. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter,
Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, folks. I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and the trend is your friend until it changes. A free special report is now available on the homepage of TFNN.com, and if you have money in the markets, this free report is a must. If your strategy is buy and hold, this report is a must. If you're a day trader, a swing trader, a Forex or options trader, or just getting into the markets, this report is a must. And it's the second best gift you'll ever receive. Look, if you buy a stock and the general market is trending in the other direction, you've reduced your odds of buying at the right time by 70%. Instead, let me teach you how to get that 70% Advantage Plus. The Plus is a free trial to my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. There's no upfront deposit, no charge to your credit card, and I compress decades of education into each daily newsletter. This is a limited time offer, so act now, and I'll teach you how to take the trend and turn it into your best friend. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And looking to see if anything else really changed out here. And not a great deal. Just looking to see whether or not anything of note out there. Of course, interest rates up. All the housing stocks pretty much getting slammed today. And that means at best we can hope for is rotation. We're up 13 points on the S&P cash on absolutely no volume going into a Friday. And going to be very interesting. I thought for sure we'd close down about 16, 15 or a little bit lower and then fight the fight on Monday. And about noon, somebody decided to hit the trigger and bounce this up about 10 points. And, of course, probably a few shorts just slowly taking their lumps into the close. But it just doesn't look to me like there's a whole lot there. And probably the last 30 minutes will be more interesting. I wonder if we still get that 16-15 close that was kind of indicated out into the market today. But, of course, probably the most interesting thing will be how the Asian markets open up on Sunday night yet again. They've been taking a lot of lumps on Sunday night and infecting us normally into Monday. We were talking about Apple a little bit, and they're off a few points today. Kind of interesting on a day where everybody was just talking about, Apple's up 5%. Apple's up 5% this week. Apple's up 5%. That's all you heard when I turned on the news this morning. You've got to buy Apple. Apple's up 5%. Anyway, we kind of looked a little bit. Still looks to me like this thing, it's off a little bit today, but still looks to me like you can easily get back into a lot of these lower lows. But that 382.05 from the April 19th low out here is going to probably be the one that we look at most interestingly enough. Seeing if there's anything else to really speak about in this market before the last couple of minutes we have of this week. And, I think we can probably all say that we hope everything gets sorted out in Egypt, but looks to me like that's going to get a little bit handled by the military. Of course, they've got all the guns, and they basically get to say what happens in Egypt. Hopefully, we never get to that place where our government has all the weapons and the military can do any darn thing it wants, because it never has to worry about an armed resistance from the people. Not a lot in that. Probably, I guess the last thing out here that I thought was interesting was SAC's Cohen is pretty much going to avoid any kind of charges. They had to be in by July, and apparently the what do they call it? Grand jury had met on either Tuesday or Wednesday, and no charges were filed. And it looks like he's probably going to skip on this, but they had, 2 years or whatever it was to get him, and it doesn't look like they're going to actually come in anywhere. It'll have to be interesting. But that's much. I mean, Treasury yields are soaring to the 2011 highs. And I guess that'll probably put more pressure on there. And probably the most interesting thing out here is the dollar. And, of course, if you're looking at the EUO, up about almost 3% today. That trade looks like it's going to be the trade that keeps on giving. We'll see you again on Monday, same bat channel, same bat time. And hopefully we have a lot more action to talk about instead of this low volume nothing.